Why is martial arts expensive?
So, bottom line is typically, like every other business format, you get what you pay for. In the old traditional days, martial arts was taught to people that the instructor knew very well, and they didn't have to worry about being backstabbed by them, literally speaking. Today, in the business model context, you can find training in a wide array of cost. So you can find anywhere from free to like $50 a month all the way up to 500 plus a month. And ultimately what you'll find is most of the time is whatever you're typically paying is what you're getting. So if you go to a place that's charging $30 or $50 a month, you're probably only getting $30 to $50 worth of material or worth your money. Versus if you go to a more premium school that's charging $150 and up, let's say, it's a pretty good bet that you're getting a lot for your money at those places. The schools that are in that premium category where they're charging that 150 and up, you typically have a very well versed instructor that has a lot of time in both teaching and learning martial arts. They probably even have multiple black belts and multiple systems, and they've spent a lot of time around the martial arts world and are typically truly experts in the area. When you get, that's not to say in the lower cost brackets like the $30 to $50 range or even the free range, that you can't find a true master that teaches in those levels. But typically you'll find they're not very organized. The classes are an afterthought. Um, you'll probably find more canceled classes because they're not doing it for a living or they're not doing it as a monetary gain. They're just doing it as basically a side job that makes them a couple bucks here and there. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just you're not going to typically find, under most circumstances, a very good instructor within those price categories. The other part is when you go to these more expensive schools, and the reason they charge this $150 and up is because they're brick and mortar, so they have to pay the cost of the facility to rent it or own it every month. They got to pay their taxes on it. They got to pay the light bills, water bills, gas bills, and then they got to pay their insurance fees to teach you. So if you get injured and they get sued, they can afford to take care of that, or various other issues like they might be setting up tournaments. Tournaments cost sometimes a significant amount of money to actually set up and run. And so when you're looking at all these costs, unfortunately, the cost has got to go somewhere and it's got to be billed somewhere. And ultimately, that ends up at the student. The other issue is geographically speaking. So it's probably not as expensive to learn a martial art from the same quality instructor in the middle of nowhere as it is like in LA. LA, everything's expensive. I don't think you can go out for anything under $50 a person. So obviously rent and light bills and everything like that is more expensive in that area. And if you're looking to study in that area, you just have to be prepared to spend more money for that premium service.